guys, welcome back to another episode out on the Sportster today. The Dyna is actually in the shop getting some battery issues diagnosed. Basically what had been happening is it was getting harder and harder to crank over. I was troubleshooting it as best as I could. I disconnected all of my accessories, so all the LED lights, the light bar, everything. Had it on the tender. It was charging to 100% on the tender, but then as soon as you go to hit it, nothing. I mean, it would try to start, it would like turn over like 1 or 2 times and then stop. So my guess is the battery, but I guess they will tell me exactly what it is. But today we were headed out to the Pitchin' for Charity event. This is actually a charity event put on by GTZ Powder Coating and Weathered Souls Brewing. GTZ, of course, one of our lovely sponsors of the Dyna build series, which is the main reason why I want to take the Dyna, to show off all the nice parts on it. But, I mean, not much I can do if the bike won't start. But Mia is no ugly duckling, so she'll still get some views and grab some attention. Right now I'm headed out to the normal meetup spot over at 7-Eleven. Don't know if any OGs are actually going to be there today. Roblox in Vegas. Brad had previous plans, and Ken, it's his mom's birthday, so he's going to go take her out to lunch. He's actually going to be meeting us at the event, but he couldn't make the ride. But I know a couple people are already there because I set the Facebook event for 11, even though in the description it said 11:30. But oh well, not a huge deal. That's a pretty bike, sir. Should try not dropping it this time.
I tried real hard.
What's up, buddy? It's a little warm.
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
Not looking forward to the summer. Alright, so we're rolling out here. I got a total of 3 bikes. Got one of our Patreons, David Hassel. Y'all have seen him, if you're a fan of the live streams or anything like that, you've seen him pop up quite a few times. Also been on a couple of rides, including this time where he dropped his bike. I'm sorry, David, you're the last one to do it. You're going to hold the crown until you pass it, which really isn't up to you. And then another 83 iron. The guy looks very familiar, but he showed up right when we were gearing up, so I couldn't hear him at all because I had my plug phones in. But like I said, he looks very familiar. Pretty sure I've met him before, but he's going to tag along as well. Man, it feels good to get that breeze going. It's already up in like the mid 80s. I mean, I'm definitely not complaining because I know some of you guys are still dealing with snow. Ugh. But this summer's going to be rough, man. I can already feel it. David asked if we were going to go straight to the van or if we were still going to do the ride since there's only 2 people when he said that. I said, hell yeah, man. It's a gorgeous day. Of course we're going to go ride. I was like, it's only 50 miles. And he goes, so you're only going to have to fill it about 2 or 3 times, right? I was like, God damn it. Even though I have a second bike, I still have to deal with the Sportster jokes. That's alright. I can't give him out and not expect it to come back at me. I mean, I did give him a drop bike joke as soon as I pulled up, so it feels so good to ride today. I needed a break so bad. If you caught the last couple videos, we were talking about life situations and things like that. So in case you missed those, basically, I started a new job, I'm planning a wedding, and I'm having to move all at the same time. So life has been stupid busy lately. It's really been get off of work, work on the house, or go look for houses, or you name it. I guess we're just gonna hit every single goddamn red light. But thankfully, we've got a great realtor. If you guys are in the San Antonio area, hit up Josh Boggs of Exposed Homes. He's actually one of the members of the GOC, Guardians of the Children. I know you guys have heard me mention them quite a few times. I go to their charity event every year. Well, I say every year. I went last year, but that was my first year. But a great group of guys, great cause, and Josh just an overall great guy. How he does everything he does, I have no idea. That guy has one speed and it's 125%. Like, he does not have an off switch. So he definitely respects the grind that I put in with the YouTube and everything like that. And he's doing everything in his power to make this process as easy as possible. So if you're looking for a home, he's your guy. But some good news on the home side. I know a lot of people were pretty shocked about the whole home situation, how that turned out. But some good news on that front is we are using the same lender as we were last time. So an update on that. I know last video I pretty much made it sound like it was entirely his fault. And at the time, we believed that to be true. But after some further investigation, turns out it was our old realtor's fault, because she was the one that delivered the paperwork to him, and we had signed that paperwork unbeknownst to the tax changes. Basically, our realtor was in charge of going over the taxes and explaining to us what was on there, what was going to be on there, basically the ins and outs of the tax process. And then once we signed it, the realtor, or the lender, I'm sorry, was in charge from there. So he was under the impression that we had already been explained the whole situation. So most of the blame falls on us, partially on the realtor for not doing her job, but at the end of the day, it was our fault for not reading over it enough, basically, to where we fully understood it. We were under the impression that our realtor had all of our best interests in mind, but that appears to not be the case. Going back to that, he does feel bad for doing it. So what he is doing for us this time is he's actually going to keep our payments on our current house the same as they are, and then any overages or anything like that, he's going to roll them into the new loan, which he is going to approve prior to us selling this home. So it gives us a lot more breathing room and a lot more time to really take our time in the home buying process and really find something that we absolutely love, and not have to settle on anything that that we might have to if we were in a rush. Now, of course, we're not going to be able to buy a 5,000 square foot home in the best neighborhoods, just because that's not really our price range. We have the time to really look for something that's going to fit us for the long run. We looked at a few houses already. So we looked at one house that was damn near perfect. It had a big 2-car garage, almost a 2.5. I mean, this thing was massive. Gorgeous too. It had the nice floors, nice walls, but the driveway into the garage was at like 110 degrees, 120 degrees. So basically it sloped down to the garage door about that. And it was pretty close to the street, so the angle of the driveway to the street was killer. It would be sketchy to take a bike over. That's how much of an angle it was, and you're definitely not getting any sort of sports car over that either. And I definitely want another sports car within the next 5 to 10 years, so that was pretty much the killer right there. And then the other house we looked at was in a pretty nice neighborhood, but it was weird, man. The layout of the whole house was just weird. But it did have a nice 2-car garage that opened up into the backyard, which had a pool. So that would have been awesome for videos, having all that natural light come in. But for the price, the amount of work that we had to do to it, just wasn't cutting it. I will say the stuff that you look for the second time you buy a house is completely different from the stuff you look for the first time you buy a house. The house that we currently live in, this was my first home purchase. It was Miss Bird's second, but me and her have very different needs in a house, so I don't think we were really on the same page. We were kind of looking out for ourselves, and we both kind of settled for some things that ended up being really big factors. The ones that you guys know the most is the living on the main street and the small uninsulated garage. The main street, that's one thing that I didn't think was going to be a big deal, but has turned out to be a huge deal. So that's one thing that I'm like drawing the line on, like hell no, not going to do it again. The garage size, I mean, there's not much we can do about that. Garages are going to really depend on the area you're in and when the house was built. But one thing I told Miss Byrne is she likes a big kitchen. That's her thing, is she has to have a big kitchen. She cooks a lot. We entertain a lot. We always have get-togethers and stuff at her house. So having a big, open, entertainment-worthy kitchen is key for us. One thing I told her, though, is a kitchen can be modified. Granted, it's going to be expensive, but if you've got something that you can live with for a few years, might be something we can look at later down the road. But a garage is, I mean, without some serious building permits and, you know, just the right layout of the property, there's not much you can do about a garage. So I'm kind of having to be a little bit selfish on that end, and I'll let her know that I spend, I would say, just as much time in the garage as she does in the kitchen, just at, you know, different intervals, of course. But like I said, with the time that we have, no rush, man. There's no sense in settling into something we don't absolutely love. So, some channel feedback, some channel news updates, things like that I wanted to address is I'm getting a lot of good feedback on Throwback Thursday. I was actually kind of surprised. It was 50-50 for me, honestly. I felt like people were either going to love it or people were going to hate it, but it's gotten a decent feedback. A lot of positive comments, kind of going back to what I was saying when I announced it, and it being a good way for people to either, A, if you've been on the channel for a while, to kind of reminisce and see how far the channel's come, or B, if you're new to the channel, just get to see, you know, where the channel's come from and some of the older videos that you probably haven't seen. But making those has really helped kind of take some of the workload off of me. And that's the next thing I wanted to address is I wanted to thank everyone for the amount of support I got on that video when I announced that I'm not going to be able to upkeep the 4 videos a week. Bunch of supportive comments on that. I had one asshole that was like, oh wow, you're gonna have to take a break from begging for people's money to support your hobby. And people always act like AdSense is coming out of their own pocket, which is hilarious. I mean, unless you're a Patreon member, you're not paying a freaking dime for my content. And even if you are a Patreon member, you're paying that money because you're getting extra stuff that you want. I'm definitely not forcing anyone to join. I actually haven't even asked anyone to join. I'm just letting people know, hey, if you want this, there is an option for it. And that's kind of what I said right off the bat when I made the Patreon, is I'm not making this a forced purchase or anything like that. This is literally just an option for if you want this extra content. And I wasn't going to take down the amount of content I was making to supply content for the Patreon. Now, I know I have since lowered my content production just because of life situations. Has nothing to do with anything Patreon related. Alright, we're going to hit Cielo Vista real quick. I will get back with you guys once we are done here. Never get behind a car on Cielo Vista. This sucks. Okay, so anyways, what I was saying is the amount of workload that has reduced from basically just the channel has helped me tremendously. So I don't want people to think that I'm just taking a break because, well, I need it. I do need it, but I'm taking a break because I have to, not because I want to. But it really has opened up just a ton of time for me to really focus on all of this house and wedding and all that life stuff that has presented itself. So I do want to say thank you for that, for being so supportive of the change. It kind of has me reevaluating how I want to run the channel, just based off of, you know, channel performance versus quality of life. Like, I kind of have to weigh both to see, you know, I'd like to keep both as high as possible, but priorities, you know. Basically what I'm trying to say is to know that I'm not going to get burned at the cross for, you know, not uploading 4 videos a week is nice.